Welcome to this edition of the SA Crypto Market Analysis. This edition again proudly brought to you by cryptofest.co.za, happening on the 7th of September. It's a Saturday down in Cape Town. Go get your tickets now. You have 10 days left for early bird tickets of 450 Rand. After that, they go up by $100. cryptofest.co.za. This is our new 7-minute edition, which we want to stick to every week. Graham, take us through what you're seeing. We've had quite a reversal since all the parabolic excitement. What are you seeing at the moment?
Cool. All right, so we're on the daily chart here at the moment. In recent days, we have had a fairly significant drawdown. So bottom line, I think, is that we're still in the bull trend, but we need to be a little bit cautious at this stage. Okay. So to anticipate whether this reversal that we've had continues and develops into a greater pullback, or if this was our buying opportunity, now we're going to carry on. So let's zoom in a little bit closer on the 4-hour chart. So I want to just focus firstly specifically on these areas that are highlighted in the last newsletter, I think, that you sent out. So you can see that we've got a clear expansionary period, a contraction, then another clear expansion out of that pattern, and that then repeated itself on 2 occasions. And for me, these are perfect trading setups for a short-term trader, because you can get your risk-reward ratios with your stop loss and your take profit in a manner that's really attractive for a short-term trader, because you can put your stop loss really close to your entry level, which gives you a nice risk-reward ratio. So for me, these were ideal patterns to be trading as a short-term trader. However, now we can see, and I want to just put on the Bollinger Bands to highlight this, but the volatility that we're seeing in the market now is far greater after we've got that sell-off than it was prior to that stage. So you can see how tight these Bollinger Bands are at this stage. Obviously they do broaden out during the expansion period, but then you get a nice contraction and then you go again. So that's like heaven for a short-term trader, and then you can use your leverage through a BitMEX or a Bitfinex.
So were you eyeing out this as the sort of flagpole to draw your targets? Would it be that from that point to that point, or more from the beginning of the triangle to the top of the triangle?
So here I was actually using my take profits based on the Fibonacci retracement levels of the big move back from December last year to now. Right. And that I highlighted as 11,400 and 13,400. And those proved to be the levels where we got the next wind up and then the next move. And if you took profit there, that was your
Fibonacci expansion had taken you to 13.4. I do remember you mentioning 13.4. Yeah. Okay, so we're pushed for time. Now you're saying that traders need to be cautious at the moment.
I think caution is important, especially if you're using leverage, because number one, you can see how these Bollinger Bands have moved out. Which means there's a lot more volatility in the market, which means that it's a lot harder to get your risk-reward ratio at an acceptable level. And also, we are now seeing lower lows and lower highs. We need to see some kind of significant reversal to get us back on track with the bull market, and I'm not saying that's not possible, and I think there's a decent chance that we do that. But at this stage, given these lower lows and lower highs, I think caution needs to be exercised for your short-term leverage trading. That being said, as a long-term accumulator, then $10,000 was your perfect buying opportunity to accumulate, and I'd be looking as a long-term trader to accumulate on the next dip. So maybe we dip back to the $10,000. I would be comfortable setting up some more buy orders there, and maybe if we get lucky, maybe we get a pullback further to this previous breakout point of 9,300, and we can zoom out further to see other potential buying opportunities. But as a long-term trader, I'd be comfortable accumulating on pullbacks. As a short-term trader, I'm keen to just stay out the market and wait for the market to maybe calm down a bit, wait for the next bullish setup, and we can go from there.
Great. Okay, so let's go to question of the week, which we introduced on our Telegram and WhatsApp groups. This week's question comes from Lourie Höll, who says, what is your prediction for the top of the next bubble? He does say just for fun, but what is your prediction for the top of the next bubble?
So always a difficult thing to be making longer term predictions, and it'd be cool to pull up that chart with the mining.
Mining halving coming up. We believe it's halving, not halvening, correct English?
Cool, so these are obviously broad assumptions, but I really like this chart, which shows you where the halving is of the Bitcoin mining rewards and how the market has basically gone through cycles in the lead up to that. So I've recreated this chart, and it's a good one to go back and have a look at. But I've recreated this chart on TradingView. So here what we see is basically a recreation of that chart, and I encourage you guys to go and have a look at that chart in more detail, because I think there's quite a lot of insight that we can pull out. But for time's sake, we're going to jump ahead a little bit, yeah? Broadly speaking, let's say that history repeats itself based on that mining chart, and that's basically the best broad assumption I can make, that I expect that process to repeat. So if we look at it from top to bottom, we had a move from $2 all the way to $1,000. Okay, which is just insane. That was a 500x move. Okay, and that's when the real billionaires and millionaires in this space were made in those early days. Okay, then during the next halving process, we moved from a low of $200 to $20,000, 100x. Still fantastic. Okay, I don't think it's fair to expect that we get the same 100x move the same way that we shouldn't have expected 500x after we go 500x there. So let's say that this now repeats itself going forward, and the next move is 5 times less than the previous one if history repeats itself. So that would be a 20x move. So that would take us from a low of 3,000. Obviously these are all broad numbers, but 3,000 would take us up to $60,000. Okay, at the peak of the next bull market, which if again history repeats itself according to the mining, we should expect that peak to be around about the beginning of 2022. So yeah, I think a fun one to have a look at, and yeah, if I were to take a wild guess, I'd say that's pretty much where I'd expect that we go.
Well, there we go. That's it for this week, Lourie. I hope you take note of your answer there. $60,000 is the estimate of top of the next bubble. Graham, thank you very much.
Thanks, James.
For this week's episode, proudly brought to you by cryptofest.co.za, happening in Cape Town, 7th of September. It's a Saturday. 450 Rand for the next 10 days, 550 Rand thereafter. Until the next episode, cheers.